Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 2010 sci-fi horror movie, Beyond the Black Rainbow. I don't really know very much about this movie, except that it was directed by Panos Cosmatos, a Canadian filmmaker who made the 2018 movie Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage, and that was like a weird psychedelic, home invasion, revenge porn flick, starring Nick Cage. Other than that, I don't really know very much about the filmmaker. I know this is like a sci-fi horror movie, and that I mistook it for two different Japanese films, or mistook one Japanese film for the other Japanese film. In spite of all that confusion, I'm gonna give this a watch and see if it, scares the shit out of me. Scares the living shit out of me. We come back every time. We never go out of style. We never go out of style.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Dr. Mercurial Arborea, and I am the founder of the Arborea Institute.
Do they make rice? By the way, I didn't really love Mandy, but, whatever.
And our dedicated team of herbalists, naturopaths, and healers have found a way to make that dream a reality.
Yay, homeopathy. I'm wondering if this is going to be in the vein of David Cronenberg, of taking poorly conceived government projects and destroying quiet suburban lives as a result. This seems like a private endeavor, though. It might be presumptuous to believe that this would be in a tradition of David Cronenberg, just because Panos Cosmatos is Canadian. But the aesthetic is kind of similar. This is more in like the psychedelic. But if it's sci-fi body horror, then who better to copy than David Cronenberg? Let me begin on I. The same as both Blade Runner 2049, and Under the Skin. Actually, in terms of aesthetic, the person I'm reminded the most of was who's the director of Barbarian Sound Studio and Duke of Burgundy. I love that guy's work. I don't know if I was totally into his last movie, but I also don't know if I'm always entirely into his movies in general. Peter Strickland. But Peter Strickland made most of his movies after this. I don't know. So maybe Peter Strickland is taken from Panos Cosmatos, but in my opinion, Peter Strickland is a little bit more selective with his color contrast, with his color story. Peter Strickland's movies are beautiful, I have to say. This is okay. We're also seeing stuff that may have been some loose inspiration for what is that Alex Garland movie? Ex Machina. I will say, in this movie's defense, that it was made for a lot cheaper than any of the other movies I've cited, so we got some Get Out tapping. Oh, are you one of those single tier?
Are you one of those single tier people? Do I look like a double rainbow to you?
Oh man, Canadians love their synth. Is this gonna be a full-on Stranger Things?
I'm really interested in hemophilia.
My impression from early David Cronenberg films, though, and right now the impression I'm getting from this, is that Canadians apparently feel their lives are very remote, despite relative affluence, free healthcare, some good governmental programs. Apparently not as fulfilling as we are led to believe, we desperate Americans.
I didn't hear you come in.
Did Mandy have a spouse in convalescence as well? I feel like his wife was.
No.
I don't remember. I really don't remember much about Mandy.
Sleeping.
Jump scare. Just gotta take so many pills. That sucks. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Blade Runner, that's what I was thinking. Ba-da-bum. I can't really play it right now, but you know the one. Vangelis. Ba-dum-bum. I'm trying to do the Blade Runner theme, but it's coming out as Jurassic Park. But you know the theme, right? Like the LA theme. Not like the burning LA theme, but like flying over LA. That's creepy. Jesus. Is that a Russian? Is that a Russian cartoon? That seems Japanese based on The Last Ghost. I guess that makes sense for the art style.
She was a very desirable woman. Hey, would you like to have a photo of her?
You want to know how I got these scars? So are we at the point in the movie where we discuss how much not the makeup the actress has on, despite being in circumstances that would belie her having makeup? What can I see so far? I can see whatever makes your eyelashes curl. Eyeliner? I see a little bit of like a nude lip gloss.
Looking more and more like your mother every day.
Yeah, we get it. You want to have sex with the two of them. That's great. That's some guys' kinks. I don't know why. I'm not going to be mad. I'm just wondering if this actress has more of a career as a model than an actress. It's okay, you know. Alicia Vikander books modeling work too, and she was great in Ex Machina. I'm just wondering. I'm being too mean. What I really mean to say is she has a pretty nose and very nicely trimmed eyebrows.
I can guide you towards that achievement.
I know he said I could guide you to that achievement, but what I heard was, I'm a kaiju to that achievement.
Guide you.
This is the worst meet cute I've ever seen. You hate it when you're on a first date and they're already trying to indoctrinate you into their cult. Oh, they're also shooting on the opposite.
You just
On the opposite line
have to let
from the previous scene.
in.
Oh, so he's Bray Wyatt now. You remember that time Robert Pattinson fucked a fish in the lighthouse? Who else was doing like period sci-fi horror? Ben Wheatley with High Rise. That was also a good movie. You should check that one out. So right now the films this is making me think of that are all good that you should check out are Ex Machina, High Rise, one of David Cronenberg's movies about the Canadian condominium getting taken over by a disease. I think that was Shivers, right? It might not be Shivers. But that one too. And Barbarian Sound Studio. Subject to 2 days without sleep. Inner Eye. Collective Mind Control. Boobies. Man Without Dick. Another Man Without Dick. Japanese fetish porn.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Comprehensive.
We also have some interesting framing going on right now. Kind of Lynn Ramsey-ish. Cutting off half the face. He was having a conversation and the phone was unhooked. That's creepy, but also, why was the phone unhooked? and the world will turn to ash. Things you can't do in 2020. Put your finger all the way in your mouth. That's cool. I'll give them that. I like that. For as much as it's been like made in like After Effects and shit, and the background Gaussian blur doesn't really match up to the sharpness on his face. See, that's a realistic blur between a background and a foreground image.
Hope you're hungry. Looks better than usual today. What do you got there? A special picture? Let me see.
Canadian actors.
Oh, come on. I'm just curious. Is it your mother? Where is she? Did she die?
You know, we don't usually talk this much. You usually just give me my meals and then leave.
Good.
Okay. I thought we had a rapport going, but I guess not. Oh, L. Don't blow up people's heads, L. Just break their necks, like you do in the TV show. Is her name in this movie Elena? Is she actually 11? I'm grown up 11, and this is what I can do now. I can up the exposure beyond compare. Yep. Now I realize I don't know how much I can show of this movie. You've made a grave mistake, Hank. A grave mistake. Why do criminal, like, evil masterminds always, like, are always so happy to see, like, the accidental deaths of their employees? Like, this is a huge insurance liability. I don't know how insurance operates in Canada, but I assume that this would be a disaster. The premiums. If I wanted to watch a female torture movie, I'd watch insert funny joke here. But in actuality, I'd watch The Nightingale. Watch The Nightingale, that's a good movie. It's rough. It's very, very rough. Let me preface by saying that. But it's a very good movie, too. And very thoughtful. Sensionauts. The sequel to the 2007 indie game. So I think, if we pause on this Daft Punk moment that's happening here, I think this movie was primarily shot in a museum or a conservatory of some sort. I kind of run these movies on a rebel without a cause binary system, which is to say, is the movie better or worse than just the experience of going to the observatory or the museum yourself? In the case of Rebel Without a Cause, the movie's better than going to the museum, I'd say. I've never been there before. I've never been to that observatory before, but Rebel Without a Cause is a good movie. And I have been to observatories before, and I would say that Rebel Without a Cause has been better than my observatory or Cosma, whatever those places are called, experiences. Now, La La Land, is it better or worse than going to an observatory? I might say, in my opinion, worse. I'd rather go to the museum in that case. And right now, just based on what I've seen so far of this movie, I'd prefer the museum. Much like Mommy? Dear Mommy? The German horror movie. This is a movie with a lot of breathing. There was just a mandate from this director that all the actors be as breathy as possible with their delivery. Apparently Jason Robards is available. The actor from Magnolia, apparently. Came back from the grave.
is here.
Couldn't agree more.
He's about to go full Tom Cruise on him. You fuck! You fuck! Why did you leave us, you fuck? I cannot imagine sitting in a theater and having to watch this. Just watching this white screen, I would be like so pissed. Like, this isn't like a commercial film, obviously, and it wouldn't get like a huge wide release, but if it did, I'd have a full-on Cats moment and just be like, this entire scene was shot completely overexposed. And for some reason intentionally, but bad intentions. Like the all white room is a trope in science fiction. Like you see it in The Matrix and Under the Skin again, in Horse Girl most recently. Like, you can do it without making it look like complete shit. This is cool though. Now we're getting into the altered states kind of thing. This is cool. I'm into this. It's just like, you know, roam free to do some practical effects. I'm perfectly fine with that. You don't have to like work so hard to try and convince people that you're like a serious filmmaker to get here though. If you're interested in doing these things, then just do it. Just do it, you pussy. You know you won't. This is literally Stranger Things. And I'm like a little bit confused. Because this is supposed to be an art house movie and this is Stranger Things. Remember that time they burned Mandy alive? I wasn't happy about that. Not because it was like too gruesome for me. I mean, it was in like a philosophical sense. I feel like a movie that's just about two men attacking each other doesn't need to burn a woman alive in order to achieve that effect. But I guess the same could be said for The Dark Knight. What the fuck do I know? Tag yourself if you're a director who did this entire aesthetic better. I'm Jonathan Glazer, by the way. Oh my gosh, he was wearing a wig the whole time. Sometimes I think that, based on these two movies, that Panos Cosmatos just likes to shoot men looking at sharp, bright things.
The devil's teardrop.
It's weird centering this movie around the experience of the guy who's principally the antagonist. I don't think that a movie like can't do it. Obviously, there's lots of great movies that center around like a man's toxic behavior, like Taxi Driver and Joker. And The French Connection, but this guy's just like not very interesting. I don't even know what this girl wants. I mean, she wants to escape. She wants to see her dad. She has a photo of her mom, I suppose. But like, in like a real like protagonist like story writing kind of way, like that's like not a lot to work on. Those are like Ariel goals, and if you want to have a protagonist as simple as Ariel, then she's got to do a lot of stuff to achieve her relatively simple goals. Ariel makes a fucking deal with a fucking sea witch to lose her voice and her fins to get legs, so that she's like drowning underwater. She has to swim back up to the surface. Like, what has this girl done so far? She's exploding the lady's head. I like the vibe to that shot. That seemed like Willy Wonka-ish in a strange way. This seems Willy Wonka-ish. This is like the TV room. I think I might relate to her struggles a little bit more if she didn't have, like, perfectly coiffed fucking hair. You know, that thing was already in, like, a straitjacket. I don't think it posed that much of a threat to you. But maybe if you weren't moving in, like, pretty girl speed, you could get away faster. Now I'm imagining what this movie would be like if this was just Regina George. I'm genuinely dying. This is me dying. This is me getting to the point where I am dead. This is compostable me. Look at this fucking Blade of Destiny demon teardrop shit that he's carrying. I fucking hate this movie. I thought I'd be angry at this movie because it would scare me and thrill me and excite me, and it's just annoying. Imagine if David Cronenberg had made this shit. We would have never gotten Videodrome. People would have just been like, it's over, man. No history of violence for you. This must just be like a high movie. This is like a movie that people go to high off their minds, and whatever shit people like when they're high, they like in this movie. I am such a square. Literally, just imagine if any other director had made this, how deeply unsatisfied you'd be with their work. Imagine if David Fincher had made... Not David Fincher. Imagine if David Lynch had made this. Jesus. Imagine if Nicholas Winding Refn had made this. You'd be like, you're no longer a director I'm interested in. Yorgos Lanthimos had made this. You'd be like, I thought you were better than this. If Mikhail Haneke made this, you'd be like, cancelled. I'm cancelling my subscription on Michael Haneke. If you saw this after Antichrist, you'd be pissed. If you saw this after The House That Jack Built, you'd be like, yeah, I get it. It's just a breathing movie. I can't even. Like, what did the auditions for this look like? So I'm just like, what the fuck? So that was Beyond the Black Rainbow. I hope you liked it. I'm Hank. This has been Pillbox Movies. I'm gonna find Nicolas Cage, and I'm just gonna beat him up. He is just gonna get these fucking hands for recommending this director. Okay. A little bit of background. He made this movie as a love letter to his parents. His father, who is a director of like popcorn movies like Rambo 2, and his mother, who enjoyed art house films and had recently succumbed after a lengthy battle with cancer. I suppose you can see some wrestling with images of indolence or inability to move, or being constricted, or being confined, as well as sickness and medication and rot and human decomposition, and that is, yeah. It's interesting that all that stuff is in there. So yeah, that was Beyond the Black Rainbow. I don't really know why I decided to watch this movie. I'd seen Mandy and I didn't like it, and I guess maybe in my head I thought that Mandy was like a really commercialization or like, you know, post blow up kind of the movie that the director makes when they think they're gonna, you know, they're about to be famous and shit, and they're working with Nicolas Cage, and like that's what you do. But it wasn't necessarily true to his original organic horror, like psychedelic trance movie origins. Turns out, as Alfred Borden tells his twin in The Prestige, in in the case of Panos Cosmatos, I think we're just gonna have to let this one go. Just don't cross paths with the man again, and wish him the best in the future, but we're just like never gonna go near this director again voluntarily. If you like getting abominably trashed and watching a movie in a semi-fugue state, I think this could fit the bill. Anyways, that's it for me. Go out, live your life. Don't imprison women. I mean that, don't. If you're thinking about it, don't. Keep watching good movies. Goodbye.